It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
This episode contains discussions of child sexual abuse, exploitation, and other sensitive subject matter that may be disturbing or triggering to some listeners. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
The last confirmed sighting of 19-year-old Brittney Wood wasn't dramatic. There was no screaming, no visible struggle, no abandoned car on the side of the road, just a mother standing in her yard in Mobile County, Alabama, watching her daughter walk into the night. And according to that mother, Brittney turned back one last time and said, "I just don't think you'd understand, Mom, but I'll be back."
She never came home. This is Episode 2, Part 1, The Public Timeline.
Hey everyone, this is Sellers.
And this is Stormy.
And this is
Unforgotten. Each episode highlights unsolved missing, murdered, and suspicious death cases in Alabama in order to raise awareness and hopefully obtain some answers for victims and their families.
Please remember that any individual referenced in the podcast should be considered innocent until found guilty in a court of law, and any opinions or views expressed in the podcast are solely those of participants. Listener discretion is advised, as some of the content discussed in the podcast may contain violence or graphic descriptions and may not be suitable for all audiences. Hey guys, and welcome back. We've been on a little bit of an extended break. It wasn't one that was initially planned for, but life just got a bit chaotic and there was no time to sit down and record. But we're back, and we're taking a closer look at one of Alabama's most publicly discussed and deeply complicated missing persons cases, the disappearance of Brittney Wood.
Segment 1, a case people think they know. There are cases where the public has almost too much information. And then there are cases like this one, where people think they know the story. But most of what they know came in fragments. A headline here, a documentary there, a quote pulled from the courtroom hearing, a Facebook rumor repeated enough times that it started sounding like fact.
Over the last 14 years, Brittney's disappearance has been reconstructed through media coverage, interviews, public statements, court proceedings, and eventually, an internationally released documentary series. And somewhere along the way, the timeline became blurred. Details shifted, memories evolved, certain things stopped lining up cleanly.
So, before we analyze phone records, before we get into conflicting accounts, before we talk about movements, timelines, or investigative theories, we need to establish the foundation. What was the public actually told? Because you can't identify inconsistencies until you know what the original story was. Segment 2. The thing people didn't know.
Long before Brittney disappeared in May of 2012, there was already a history inside this family that the public largely didn't know about. Back in 2003, when Brittney was just 11 years old, she disclosed sexual abuse involving her grandmother's former boyfriend, Ronald Robertson.
According to later reporting, Brittney first told a youth minister, who then informed her mother, and that disclosure eventually became a criminal case. And Brittney testified.
That changes the way you look at what happened years later. When people talk about Brittney's disappearance, they often frame her as someone suddenly pulled into a larger scandal, but that's not entirely accurate. Brittney had already navigated the criminal justice system once before. She knew what it meant to come forward. She knew what it meant to disclose abuse, to be questioned, to testify. And in that earlier case, she was believed.
Robertson was ultimately convicted and sentenced to life in prison for rape, plus an additional 10 years for sexual abuse. And whether people realized it at the time or not, that earlier history becomes deeply relevant later. Because by 2012, another set of allegations was beginning to surface inside the same extended family. Segment 3, February 2012.
The public story of Brittney Wood usually starts on May 30, 2012. But investigators say the events surrounding her disappearance actually began months earlier, specifically February 26th.
According to the later Peacock series, Monster in the Shadows, Randall Scott Wood, whom we'll be calling Scott going forward, contacted Baldwin County Sheriff's Office after discovering what he believed were inappropriate communications involving a child while living inside of Wendy and Donald Holland's home.
What better place than to move in with your sister? And so he moved in with her. And he started finding out things and looking on the daughter's computer.
That child was Wendy and Donnie's daughter. And according to the accounts later given publicly, this wasn't hearsay. It was something Scott claimed he personally observed.
Within days, Eric Winberg, now a former Baldwin County investigator, was assigned to the case.
A report was made with the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office by Randall Scott Wood, who was the maternal uncle of Holland, that her father, Donald Holland, who I often refer to as Donnie Holland because that's what he went by, was involved in an incestuous sexual abuse, if not affair, with his own daughter.
Me and my brother Scott is very close. He's the one that busted this case wide open.
And according to later interviews, investigators quickly realized this situation might be much larger than a single allegation. Because as more information surfaced, certain names kept repeating. Certain stories began overlapping. And according to all those involved, what initially appeared isolated no longer looked isolated at all.
It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a minky couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
Your next unforgettable experience can happen anytime. Take an Amex card with you for rewards wherever you go. Morning coffee run with an old friend? Earn cash back. Weekend getaway? Earn miles. Amex rewards your inner explorer. Learn more at americanexpress.com. Terms apply.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Segment 4, 3 Days and Nights.
Years later, in Monster in the Shadows, Brittney's mother, Chessie Wood, described what happened after Scott made that report. According to her account, Scott called saying law enforcement was headed to the Holland home and that he needed somewhere to stay. She invited him over, and then she says something striking. She says they stayed awake for 3 days and nights while Scott explained what he believed had been happening.
He moved in with them, and he started finding out things and looking on the daughter's computer, and he found a message that said, "You give a good blowjob to be 12 years old." And that's what broke the case wide open. And so Scott called me and said, "The police are on their way. I need somewhere to live." And I said, "Well, come on over." And when he come, 3 days and nights we sat in my living room without sleeping, eating, or anything. He was filling me in every detail. He had been a detective for months.
Think about that for a second. 3 days. 3 nights. Conversation after conversation about allegations serious enough to involve law enforcement. Because that detail matters later when we begin comparing timelines and public statements.
And somewhere during this period, according to former investigator Eric Winberg, Brittney herself came into the investigators' radar. Winberg later stated that Baldwin County investigators attempted to contact Brittney regarding allegations involving Donnie. He also claimed text messages indicated Brittney was willing to speak with investigators.
Now, to be clear, Winberg was no longer employed by Baldwin County Sheriff's Office when he appeared in the documentary, and the Sheriff's Office has never publicly confirmed or denied those statements. But if his account is accurate, then Brittney wasn't simply connected to the people involved. She may have been becoming a witness.
We oftentimes look for that golden nugget, that one person that can make the difference in your case. In this particular case, Brittney Wood was that person. She was the person that could tell the whole story.
Segment 5, the Facebook posts.
And then we move into the final days before Brittney vanished. And honestly, that's one of the hardest parts of this case to sit with, because everything looks painfully normal.
In the early morning hours of May 25th, Brittney uploads photos of her daughter to Facebook. A birthday celebration, family photos, updates to her cover image. Just an ordinary life.
There's no dramatic farewell, no cryptic message, no public sign that she believed she was in danger. And that's something people often forget in hindsight. When we know the ending, we start searching for warnings that may never have existed.
But then, the public activity suddenly stops. After May 25th, Brittney's Facebook page goes quiet. And only later do people begin tracking those final posts, trying to figure out whether they meant anything at all. Segment 6, the messages.
Then comes May 27th, and this is where the emotional gravity of the case noticeably shifts. Because according to records later reviewed publicly, Brittney receives Facebook messages from D.H., the daughter of Wendy and Donnie Holland.
In those messages, Brittney starts asking questions. Direct questions. Questions about what was being reported, about what allegedly happened, about who was involved.
And D.H. responds by saying she had reported her father, Donnie, for what he had done to her. As the conversation continues, additional names surface. Scott Wood, Dustin Kent, other family connections. And throughout the exchange, Brittney appears to be trying to process what she's hearing in real time.
Facebook messages investigators believe are between Brittney and one of the alleged victims. Brittney writes on May 27th, quote, "Hey beautiful, how are you? Tell me what's going on. I don't know what's true and what you said," end quote. The alleged victim then identifies Randall Scott Wood, Dustin Kent, and Donald Holland as abusers, adding, quote, "They raped me," end quote. Conversation continues, sharing heartbreaking details for quite some time. Brittney ends it saying in part, quote, "I love you. I'm sorry," end quote.
Then something unsettling happens. DH continues messaging Brittney over the next several days. But based on the records, there's no indication Brittney ever responds again. Segment 7, May 30th.
By May 30th, Brittney is still communicating with multiple people throughout the day. Friends later identified publicly as Jared, Courtney, and Bradley. And at approximately 6:50 p.m., she talks to Andy, the father of her daughter, on the phone.
At roughly the same time, according to later reporting, Wendy Holland is meeting with Eric Winberg regarding the ongoing investigation. So multiple timelines are now colliding simultaneously.
Then somewhere between 7 and 7:30 p.m., Brittney leaves her mother's home. According to Chessie, she's going to see a friend named Courtney. She's reportedly upset, frustrated. She gathers her belongings and walks away on foot.
Yesterday, Brittney said that she was going to see a good friend of hers named Courtney. Her demeanor changed. She was aggravated or frustrated with something, and she grabbed her bag with all her stuff in it and walked out my door.
And this moment becomes frozen in the memory of everyone connected to the case. Because according to Chessie, she stood in the yard and asked Brittney where she was going. She thought they had plans, and Brittney allegedly replies, "I just don't think you'd understand, Mom, but I'll be back."
7 p.m. I was standing at that door. Brittney walked out the door. I came out probably 10 feet in the yard, and Brittney walked out behind me with a tote, and she said, I said, "Where are you going? I thought we had plans." And she said, "I just don't think you'd understand, Mom." And she said, "But I'll be back." And I watched her walk across the yard.
Chessie watched her walk down the road until she disappeared from view. And that was the last confirmed sighting of Brittney Wood.
After that, the timeline fractures. There are claims, reports, rumors, phone activity, possible sightings, contradictions, but very little certainty.
And over the years, one of the biggest challenges in this case hasn't just been determining what happened. It's been determining which version of events is actually accurate. because some statements changed over time, some details evolved, and some timelines no longer fit together cleanly.
Next time on Unforgotten, we begin following the digital trail, the calls, the phone records, the movements, and the timeline investigators and the public have spent 14 years trying to untangle.
Because somewhere inside those final hours, the truth still exists. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Brittney Wood, please call Mobile Police Department at 251-208-1700 or submit an anonymous tip on their website, which is linked in the episode details. You can also email us at info@alcoldcase.com or submit a tip through our contact page on the Alabama Cold Case Advocacy website, also linked in the episode details. Since Alabama Cold Case Advocacy's creation, we have dedicated innumerable hours to researching and networking in an effort to provide the largest platform we can to the cases we share. We shoulder all associated expenses with Alabama Cold Case Advocacy out of our own pocket, including the subscription fees for researching and production of the Unforgotten podcast to provide a cost-free avenue for the victims' families of those cases.
We hope you will join in our efforts to raise awareness of Alabama's missing and murdered and support these families who have been forced to carry the immeasurable loss of their loved ones and the fight for answers. If you appreciate our mission and you are inspired to make a donation, your extra support will enable the ACCA to continue our research, share the cold cases, and help those families know that they are also unforgotten.
Unforgotten is an Alabama Cold Case Advocacy podcast, recorded in conjunction with Riverside FM, hosted and distributed by Red Circle to your favorite podcast platforms. Content, research, artwork, and production are by Sellers and Stormy of Alabama Cold Case Advocacy. Credits for music, sound clips, special mentions, and research sources can be found in each episode's description. Your support helps us continue producing Unforgotten and further Alabama Cold Case's mission of advocacy and awareness. There are a few ways you can help us light the path. Make a one-time or monthly donation to Unforgotten through Red Circle, sign up for a one-time or recurring donation through the ACCA website, or subscribe to the Unforgotten Patreon channel for early access to ad-free episodes. You will find the links for all three in our episode descriptions. Another cost-free way to be of great help is to follow us on social media, but most importantly, whatever you do, tell everyone you know about these cases. Sharing their stories is one of the most effective ways to help find resolution for Alabama's cold cases. Be the spark. Thank you for listening, and until next time, remember, justice may be delayed, but the victims and their families remain unforgotten.
That was good. You did good on that one.
Thanks.
It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.